It's interesting, as I started this video, I was sitting in another spot and the energy wasn't right there. So I came back to the chime tree where I do a lot of these videos recently, and there's an interesting energetic environment. I guess it has to do with the full moon that's going to be eclipsed this evening, as well as the start of Mardi Gras in New Orleans, the really big first day of the parades. And there's a lot of different energies happening today. And this video is interestingly about energies, sexual energies, a leveling of energies within the human body, and hygiene. I wanted to start with hygiene. I'm going to connect all these together, and we'll speak about it on the trifecta of levels. But I've heard a lot of the teachers out here. They're very high-level metaphysicians, and they have high spirituality, high cleanliness of their body, their temple. And they speak sometimes about not showering. And while this is a great idea for a lot of reasons, it's a horrible idea. We have to look at it again. We have to get right to the base of things. We have to look at our body first. We have to start, as I try to instruct anybody, start at the most basic form, the atomic level, and look at things from there. And look at the two things that happen at the atomic level. It's the in-breath and the out-breath. It's how reality is created. So just by using this general, simple, basic philosophy of the cellular mechanism, the single atomic mechanism of breathing in and breathing out to produce a reality, as we dip in and out of space-time, as we kind of, some people might term it the idea of, I think it was Mindland Hopping that did a couple of videos on this, and it's kind of called quantum jumping. It's very interesting. I had a dream about doing some really interesting things with time last night. I was able to do some very strange things. So let me just go on here with this idea of hygiene and how this connects and what it means, and taking showers or bathing. And your skin is breathing in and breathing out. Everything in your body is a bunch of portals. It's a bunch of tubes, and you're breathing in and breathing out of them. And we have to make sure these things are clean. Yes, certainly we'll be ingesting the poison, as it's said, that's in the water, and the filth that's in the water, but certainly in every way that is much, 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 much cleaner than what's already in your body. If you ate whatever it might have been that you've eaten today, if you put that into a tub of water and then you bathed in it, that would be disgusting. But yet you've put that food in your body, and that's what you're bathing in. So we have to think of it from this level. There's not too many people that have clean enough blood, clean enough diet, that are actually ingesting sunshine. And at the point that you're ingesting sunshine, understand you've graduated out of a dense form to a liquid form, to then to an etherian or an Aryan form, or charging yourself with breath and spirit and sunshine. So at that point, it'd be very knowledgeable, be wise to consider how often and what kind of water you're using to shower, to bathe with. So where most people are now, the idea of these hygienes on the different levels, meaning the level of your physical body, the level of your mind, the hygiene of your spirit, all of these things are connected. And the hygiene that can be produced by showering, like, certainly we have to not be using all of these awful soaps and all of these, things that are just chemically ridden, because we're not doing ourselves too much of a service by doing this, and we're actually ruining our skin. But it should be noted that the most important thing is to keep the skin and the portals clean, to do whatever work they need to do, to sweat, and there'll be a point where you'll sweat less, because you'll be breathing in and out of the skin. Remember that water is your tears, your blood, and that water, which is hydrogen and oxygen. And what's the next level up? Oxygen. So you can see the separation and the density that has changed. And so this is why you're breathing in You're breathing in water, like we're surrounded by water. So you're getting in water when you're breathing as well. In your body, it loses something like a liter of water a day just from walking around. And whether or not you see yourself sweating, you're losing water. Hold on. Yeah, a lot of things going on here today. So we want to consider the body and its cleanliness, its hygiene, and the ways we can clean the body that are very intelligent would be to start looking into using the most basic things we can find. We don't need to go buy special stuff. We can, and there's as I've always said, there's a great use of alchemy. And there's people that can produce great, wonderful alchemical things that can speed up processes for you, but not a lot of people know exactly what they're doing. And they're just putting together willy-nilly things that aren't going to be worth the extra energy that you'd have to spill out to acquire these things. So when we look to the basic source, what can we use? We can use lemons. We can use lemons to clean our skin. We can use lemons as a deodorant. Now, if you're still very unhealthy, that's not going to do much for you, and there's going to be a reason if you have a job that you can't smell of your, what you've been eating for the past, 30 years of your life. So, I want to go a little farther into, it's the same idea. Somebody was talking about urine fasting, and as I always get into this urine thing, they were talking about resting. You should be resting during a fast, and I'm in a big, that's quite an impasse to deliver the right information to people, because certainly there's going to be times you need to be resting, but there's also the knowledge that you need to have, which is life is movement, and the way to get the body moving, the way to cleanse the body is to actually do things that are active. At the point I'm at, when I fast, I'm actually active. I'm very active, more active than if I eat. Now, you could ask a lot of these people out here, like Vesuvius and like all of these other urine fasters, Wiley Schmidt, and you could ask them about it, and they'll tell you about the energy that they get and how much more action and life force they have in their body. That usually what we do when we eat, it's to slow ourselves down, because reality comes at you too fast sometimes, and if you're not completely balanced, it can get a little wild out here. But this idea of when people are fasting, you're going to be resting a lot in the beginning. This cleansing process involves resting, but it also involves movement, and whether that's massage, whether that's just yogic postures, whether that's heavy breathing, getting into like Wim Hof method breathing. I'll give a small video on that, but it's pretty basic. It's just really oxygenating your body and pushing out all of what's inside of you to the point that you haven't really done before, to actually push out all of your air from your, below your abdomen, and to breathe properly. I've done videos before on breathing properly, but I'll do a short one on that. What else? Yeah. Here we go, the harmonics and cleanliness and sex. So your body, as I've spoken at length about, is a collection of all the energies from the 12 signs of the zodiac. And now we can even get into what the 144 is, because 12 times 12 is 144. That would be the 12 divisions of the 12. So when we get into the 144, we can see that there are 12 people on the planet that could divide it into 144 observations of people. I know this is really next level stuff, and you'll meet 12 people, and if you take their moon sign into it, what you'll notice is the moon sign is a display of what they are in public, but their sun sign is what they are at their totality inside of them. And again, these are until you change yourself into the monad itself and into the sun sign, where you can explore and express all of the signs. But when people are underneath their zodiacal, their singular sun sign and moon sign, they're an expression of 12 or 144 things. And that once again gets broken down even further with other energies, but the basic construct is there's 12 people you'll deal with, and then 144, and then so on and so forth, as you just kind of micro chop these things up. And as we put these things in, what those things are, we're those 12 people too. To say people have bipolarism or split personality, you should have 12 personalities, really, 12 strong personalities that you can pick from. But most people don't have that idea. They have the identity of their astrological sign. So they say, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Libra, and it boxes their brain into, even if they don't know what the astrology is or what it means, they box themselves into that theory that that's what they are. If they have no real knowledge of of astrology, they can't become the full monad. They wouldn't even know they're missing 3 of the signs, which are the 3 signs of the when you're in your mother's womb and you're not collecting that information. You know, you're in your mother's womb for 9 months, and then there's 3 months you're not in there. Well, those pieces of information is when your body was being built in the cave, and you were missing three things. And this gets into rebuilding yourself from the inside with the correct colors, with the correct sounds, with the correct frequencies. And see, when we look at it like at a soundboard, and if we put that soundboard into each one of those 12, and then we'll get back to what octaves are, right? There's 12 keys to produce an octave. Well, those are the 12 signs of the zodiac. And if you're leveling things within there, up and down, these are people's personalities. These are people's, the way that they respond to the world. And, and you have these different intelligences. You have emotional, physical, spiritual, you have numeric, now these are all built into what these signs already express, but we just speak it differently. And we can change these things with colors, sounds, smells, and we can look at it through the leveling of what's inside of you to turn on the systems. Now, as we get into the hygiene of all these things and turning on all of the systems, it gets into what sex is, what coitus is, what union of energy is, whether it's at a distance with someone, being empathetic, or whether it's in close proximity, whether it's with your hands. And this has to do with why people are good at telekinesis versus psychokinesis, a different kind of kinesis where they can work with water, or with somebody that actually works with their hands more so. It has to do with their sign and where the energy charge fluxes out of them. And by balancing all of these, when we get into the union of these energies, whenever you're, like for instance, if anybody's ever had a very highly charged sexual occurrence where you felt like all of your chakras are open, I've been in relationships where, because of what I have in excess turned on in me, I can turn those things on in other people. So if you took that in the way that the zodiac looks, and this is why they say opposites attract, it means that you're filling in the 3 blanks that they don't have, and they're filling in the 3 blanks that you don't have. And so if you're charging those things up, and you actually can light up all of their chakras, so you can see different things, and the energy that fluxes between you is different. But then if you're not in that union, or some part of your energy system gets turned down, then it's very obvious to the other person, and it seems like, you can't get along with that person. And this can go on in your just normal life that you're dealing with people, but it's even more intense in the physical union, because in the densest world you can feel things the most, obviously. If you get hit with a bat, you can feel that. It's much different than, sticks and stones will, break your bones, but the name should never hurt you, because that would be the highest point of having control over it. But, it's the idea people have of, getting hurt by something someone said, or just the general interactions you have with people on a daily basis, and how that affects your energies within your system, within your organism, which each one of these chakras or each one of these signs are. And again, there's not just the 7 that they tell you about. There's a lot more, but it's a matter of visualizing it and seeing it in a simple way, in a fundamental way, because until you can get cleaned up where you can see the entire inside of your body and know exactly which each one of your systems are, you just need a general landscape. It would be akin to going to a restaurant it would be akin to going to either the Cheesecake Factory or going to some simple ma and pa shop that has like 4 things on the menu. You would be overwhelmed to walk into the Cheesecake Factory and try to order from there, or even be a cook for that place, to be a chef. There's hundreds of things, just absurd amount of things. And that's really what your body is, but there's no use in fine-tuning everything if you can't get in there. It'd be overwhelming. So when we break this down to the 7 gradients, we're talking about how to level things within each one of your organs or your different glandular systems, so how we can clean those. And I always express this redundantly over and over and over again. Everybody wants to go and take their medicines and take their herbs and get on all of these diets, these deities, right? They get on the deities' nuts. Figure that one out. The nuts, the nut, the light. Yeah. So everybody gets into these using the herbs to cure themselves and fix themselves, yet they haven't cleaned out what's in there. It makes no sense. It's not a good idea to start putting, if you had a very gray, dirty body, why would you start putting really bright colors in it? That's really what's happening. If you tried in murky waters to make it blue, by putting blue in there, it would only make it messier or even make it red. You'd have to clean the water first. And in every way, we have to clean all of our chakras first. We have to clean all of our organs, all of our portals, our eyes, our nose, our liver, our gallbladder. These things have to be cleared before it's... And this is, I really, really think it's why a lot of people that get into this health movement, they never really get anything out of it. They explore health from the sense of, oh, I'm going to go eat this food and do this thing, and then they get nothing out of it because they haven't done the first thing, which was to empty the garbage, empty the trash out of your system. And the way to go about doing this is actually you can empty garbage out of your eyeballs. If you had very bad vision, you could empty garbage out of your eyeballs by using colors that were opposite of what your problem was. Like if you don't go into nature, let me use this idea. They did studies, whoever they are, on different tribes that could actually pinpoint different colors of green, and they couldn't recognize certain shades of red. I don't remember the name of the study or how they figured it out, but I remember watching it, and it was really well done, of the kind of names that we have for colors, and what even, it's not just the names of the colors, but it's literally what we can see as colors. And so they were unable to see certain colors because their environment expressed to them completely green. So they could tell you 50 colors for green, but they couldn't even see that red wasn't even a color. Like, it didn't exist to them. So in the same way, your eyeballs, so they have different portals in their eyes that are plugged up and different ones that are open. Now you can use the same idea, the same philosophy in the colors of the eyes into things that you smell, into training yourself. You're training muscles. Your eyes are muscles. Everything in your body is a muscular system that brings in energy, and so it can recognize the energy that's brought in. So if you wanted to smell something new, if you wanted to train your nose, there's methods to do that, and it's getting and expressing different colors, or excuse me, different smells, which are akin to the colors, to your nose, so you're able to smell different things. Just like if you wanted to be better at music theory, at listening to music, at enjoying music, as you would participate in more sounds, and it's actually training parts of your, not only your brain, but musculature in your body that tell you that that's a different sound, and you can train yourself to any of these things. Now, when we put this into our organs, because there we are again, back at the word organ. It's called an organ because it should be playing a harmonic. But just like your tuba or whatever instrument it might be, if it's clogged up, it's not going to be playing any harmony. It won't be playing any sounds. So we need to first clean the whole thing out, and then we can specifically fine-tune and adjust the senses in our bodies and the organs in our bodies and the way that we recognize our environment and the way we see people, the way we can go into union with people, and whether that's off of like watching somebody from 40 yards away and feeling their energy. That's empathy, because you could feel the charge because you're cleansed to do that, but if you were dense, you wouldn't be able to. So I feel like I kind of went on a little rant here, but I think that's about it. Cleanliness of the body, showering, how to get into the astrology here a little bit, Once again, realizing the body is a, go over the rainbow bridge, crossing the rainbow bridge, and this is getting into eating the foods and smelling the foods of different colors, open things up for you. But as I'll always say, you want clear water first, clear water of the brain, clear water of what should be inside of you. I've done videos on the idea that our blood might not supposed to be red. It might, they talk about the blue bloods, but I don't know if it should be blue either. Who knows? But certainly we do need to clean what's in our body out. I could get into more of the theory another time about what the iron is and why we need to get the iron out of our body and what rust is. And we're just rusting ourselves. But we need to do that. Remember, this hydrogen peroxide, breathing in, which is oxygen, and oxygenating the body, and using oxygen to burn off heavy things that we don't need, heavy metals, heavy foods, heavy whatever it is, to become light, to get your enlightenment. So clean yourself up and start breathing right. Put your feet on the earth. And we'll talk soon.